In its quest to provide an open forum for discussion of controversial issues, this station allows hosts and their guests to express themselves without any significant censorship. You are advised that any view expressed by the host or their guest are not necessarily the views of the owners or management of TogiNet Radio, Togi Entertainment, or the Owners Group, Inc.
It's time for Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues today, with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly. Ladies, Motherhood Talk Radio is here to give you a powerful platform by giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. Motherhood Talk Radio has interviews with best-selling authors, gurus of happiness, and women of interest who every single day make our world a better place for our families. Motherhood Talk Radio, powered by Motherhood Incorporated, is on the air now. Moms, this really is your show. Motherhood Talk Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, Moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Christy Holly. Hello there. And Rick Swanson.
Hey, Sandra.
And we are having a post-birthday celebration for me.
Yay, happy birthday.
Yeah, well, you know, my other host on the other show sang to me. Rick?
No, Christy, I already did it. I sang Sunday night, technically.
Well, technically, you didn't sing it on air, friend.
See, Robin, who is my co-host on Military Mom Talk Radio, which airs Mondays at 2 p.m. PST. You can pick that up at Military Mom Talk Radio. Shameless plug.
Name dropper.
Name dropper. But Robin had queued up music, and Eric and Carrie sang to me. I mean, it was a full effort, and she's only the substitute host.
Oh, shoot.
Is that a guilt trip?
Well, Rick, why don't you go ahead and sing her solo Happy Birthday?
What about you?
I don't.
I'm going to sing
I don't
too.
sing solos, Christy. Well,
Solo, I can't hear you. Come on.
That was low I'm going to sing. All right, I will put you both out of your misery. I will absolve you of having to sing Happy Birthday. But it is true. Rick did sing to me on Sunday night.
I didn't hear it.
It was really good.
Oh.
He was 3 versions. What 3 versions? There was like a Western version.
There was like a Western version, like an old retro version, and then some like punk version.
It was very fun. It was very fun.
We'll get a reggae version one day.
Well, I'm sad that I didn't get to hear it.
You couldn't hear it from your house?
You can tune into iTunes, and you can download the show Military Mom Talk Radio from yesterday. You can also go to toginet.com, and you can go to militarymomtalkradio.com to listen to that award-winning birthday greeting.
From Robin or from Rick?
No, I'm sorry, from Robin.
Mine wasn't recorded.
I wanted to hear Rick's.
No, he wasn't recorded.
Ouch.
Oh, okay.
You've heard me sing before, though, so no surprise.
All right.
But he was very good.
Good.
And it meant a lot to me. I really
I'm
enjoyed
glad.
it. Yeah, I had a really good birthday.
What did you do for your birthday?
I went to Las Vegas, and I took my kids to Las Vegas. And any of you thinking of taking your kids to Las Vegas may not be the best place for kids, even though they say, oh, Circus is the best place for kids. On the way to Circus, the entire strip was littered with little cars with naked girls on them.
Like little porn cars.
They're little porn cars. I mean, and they're everywhere, and they're in the trash, and they're in the streets, and they're all over. And, you know, my 7-year-old picks up one at one point, and he's got like 5 in his hand. I go, oh, honey, you know, what are you doing? You know, trying to keep myself under control, going, okay, in the European community, they show naked bodies all the time. Don't freak out. And he's like, oh, Mom, he's like, they really like naked people here in Vegas. And I said, yeah,
yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Can I have those naked cards? And he gave them to me, and then he picked up another one, and he actually held it up, and he goes, Mom, she looks just like you. Which, wow, you know, I don't know of many mothers that want to hear that.
Yeah.
It was a little bit difficult. I mean, and then trying to keep my 4-year-old under control. He actually, some lady was playing the slots, and it was the video slots. So to him, it looked like a video game. And I was doing something with my older son. I think I was helping him with a shoe or something, and I hear this lady go, hey. And my 4-year-old had run into the pit, walked up, and punched the lit button. So he gambled for her.
Ooh.
Yeah, thankfully she was really nice about it, because she could have been really not nice.
Well, good, you're starting your kids young, I see, you know.
I am. We got one with booze,
Porn
one with slot
exposure, stripper
machines.
exposure, and gambling.
They're getting ready for Vegas.
Getting ready for Vegas.
Got to be prepared.
Yeah, that's true. They won't be shocked. Not as much as I was. And but we had a good time, and Caesar's Palace was beautiful, and we were having so much fun running from bathroom to bathroom, because the room we stayed in, compliments of my brother, was a suite, and so it had two big bathrooms, and then the two big bathrooms, his and hers, were connected by a walk-through shower. Like, you could walk from one bathroom to the other bathroom through a double shower.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and then I was putting the luggage down, and the kids were running back and forth, and they were all excited. They're like, "Mom, look, there's two bathrooms." And then, my 7-year-old's like, "Look, there's one toilet," and he's like, "There's two toilets in this one." I'm thinking, 2 toilets? Who has 2 toilets? And and then he turned on the water, and I'm like, "That's the bidet." And they were like, "Woo!" shooting the water all the way up as high as it could go.
That's fun.
They did. And they had a double jacuzzi tub. I mean, it was gorgeous. And,
did they still have the big diving boards there?
No.
Oh, they must have taken them out, because when I was there, like, I think it was 7, they had these humongous, like, giant diving boards. You could get, like, so much air, and just, I guess, enough kids got hurt or something.
That's right, but all it took was one to miss.
One kid's head cracks open, and everyone freaks out, and they take it away.
Well, if it was your head, maybe it was your head.
Those are my kids.
How would you know? The diving boards were taken away because Rick cracked his head open.
Yeah, I probably would break the diving board, just crack.
But it was fun. So it was a very good birthday, and I had a good weekend. And surprisingly enough, I didn't hit any buffets. I stayed true to our trip challenge. I did. I did not stuff myself while I was there.
Good.
Yeah. And, part of the problem was we were in Caesar's Palace, and everything was really expensive. So that helped. But we did. We went to Trevi, which is one of the nicer restaurants next to Spago, and, my son ordered spaghetti and meatballs, and it was like $22. And I'm like, okay, you're sharing that with your brother, and I won't be eating today. So, when you do it that way, your weight stays right down.
Nice. Very nice.
And but we did walk a lot, too. We did walk from one end of the strip to the other. And when we went to the aquarium at the MGM, the Lions were at the MGM. That was really boring. Don't go to that. It's free. You just walk into the gambling casino, and then there's like a habitat with like 2 lions laying there sleeping. And then you can go, get your picture taken with this drugged-up lion that's not going to maul you while you get your picture taken. But the aquarium that they have at Mandalay Bay is definitely worth going, because they have a tube that you walk through. So if you've like for me, I like to dive and I love to be underwater. If you're not a diver, you can get that same experience of diving a reef by walking through this tunnel, because the aquarium, the tunnel is at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So you're at fish and shark level, and there's shark and octopus and jellyfish, and there's all sorts of different, and there's giant sea turtles. And you walk underneath this tube, and you look up, and it's a clear dome. And so you get to see all the sharks swimming above you, but you're completely dressed. You're just walking through underneath, eating a hot dog.
You don't even have to get your bathing suit on.
You don't have to put your bathing suit on. That's a truly wonderful thing. And, but for somebody who might have ear problems, or somebody who's elderly or has little kids, when you stand under there and you look up at this dome that's only, probably 8 feet high, and you see, they had a hammerhead shark, and they had, I forget the shark that has looks like a big saw on the front of its face, and, all these sharks, it was really a really cool thing. And something really amazing happened when we were there. They have rays, stingrays swimming around in there. And there was a ray that kept coming by, and you could see he's looking at the people. Well, my 4-year-old went up right against the glass. He wasn't afraid at all. And he put his hands and his face on the glass as close as it could be. And the ray came over at him, and the ray put, its face is smashed to the bottom of it, but he laid up against the glass, and he lined himself up vertically with my kid. And it was really cool. I mean, there was, 2 inches of plexiglass between them. Thank goodness. My son would have been, "Bye, Mom, I'm going to ride on the ray." But it was really neat. It's always amazing to me when I see like human and animal interaction, and in that some kids are screaming and crying. They hate it in there. Shark's gonna get me. Shark's gonna get me.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will. If you don't go to bed, it's gonna get you tonight.
Good. I wonder why they hate them.
Yeah, really.
So scared.
So scared. But it was really neat. It was really, anybody going there. It was expensive, though. It was $16 a person to go through the aquarium.
Oh.
But there was a petting. I've never been, Rick. Have you been to the Long Beach Aquarium?
Yeah, I have. It was like about 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, it's truly amazing. It was even better than Monterey's aquarium, which is supposed to be
Really?
so famous and great. Yeah, they have all those things. They have like huge tanks, like those little things the tube you can walk under. Like the petting zoo is really good too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know Long Beach had an aquarium. Did you?
It's huge. Yeah, it's really nice.
We
It's
should
sea
go.
otters and yeah.
We should go. It could be a Motherhood Talk Radio field trip.
That would be fun. We'll have to bring the kids, too.
No, we don't. Oh, sorry.
No, we don't. That was quick.
Well, maybe I'm going to have to go twice.
Yes, maybe you're going to have to go twice. Well, we could do like what we did for the
zoo.
Santa Barbara Zoo.
We haven't even gone back yet, though.
I know, and our membership has expired.
You got to be kidding. That was a year ago.
That was a year ago when we pretended to be domestic partners so we could get a giant family rate.
Nice.
I can't believe it's been a year.
It is. It is.
Your 1 year anniversary. How did you feel?
We got to celebrate and go to the aquarium.
Oh, I would, because I love aquariums and I love fish and I love to dive, and I just think that there's so much we can learn underwater that's enjoyable, and it's just so beautiful. I mean, it's hard to beat seeing the sunlight, from like 15 feet below and looking up and seeing it all glittering. I mean, it's really just an amazing thing.
Yeah, and not many people, you don't ever, I don't go diving, so I would not know what that looked like.
I know, and you're from California. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. We're going to have to change that. All right, we have to go to commercial break. We have a wonderful pair of guests today. They are the owners of We Speech, and Julie Levin and Laura Drower are going to answer a bunch of questions that we have about speech therapy, how to know when to take your kids to therapy, what to look for. They have graciously come on our show today despite the inclement weather in Chicago. And we'd like to also let everyone know that Julie's mom is okay. She was the one who missed the show 2 weeks ago because her mom needed to have a pacemaker put in, so we want to put a shout-out to Harriet that we are so glad that you're better. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Motherhood Talk Radio along with Christy Holly and Rick Swanson, and we will catch you after the break.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. It's time to capture the simple piece of the Amish in your own life. Amish Wisdom with Suzanne Woods Fisher. Thursday afternoons at 5, 4 Central. Each week, Suzanne will have conversations with guests about living a life that incorporates principles of the Amish without going Amish. She'll cover the practical, simplicity, slowing down, reducing clutter, putting the brakes on materialism. The historical, how have the Amish survived for 400 years? How can we hold on to what we hold dear? And the spiritual, treasuring important values, honoring the past, and increasing peace of mind. You don't have to become Amish to make personal peace a reality. Amish Wisdom will help all of us live a simpler life. For more information, go to SuzanneWoodsFisher.com. With Amish Wisdom, Suzanne offers us a glimpse into a world of peace, serenity, and total commitment to family and God. This show just might change the way you live your life. It's Amish Wisdom with Suzanne Woods Fisher. Thursday afternoons at 5, 4 Central on TogiNet.com. Get ready for the Not So Soccer Mom, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central, on TogiNet with Jill Hickey. You name it, from politics to pop culture to Jill's search for the perfect bronzer and chicken salad. The Not So Soccer Mom will weigh in on it all. The sentence, "I have no opinion about that," is one that Jill has never uttered. In the early 90s, Jill finally decided to put her thoughts, opinions, mom advice, love of pop culture, hummus, and Starbucks, working out, cosmetic shopping, and politics into an actual website, and thus NotSoSoccerMom.com was born. Shortly after her fourth child, a boy, Jerome, now she's really got tons of topics to share with you. This is Laugh Out Loud Funny, and we're not kidding. What's a loud Nebraska girl who lived in Little Rock for many years and now is up in the Northeast doing? Chronicling her opinions on everything. The wheels aren't off yet, but it's close. It's the Not So Soccer Mom with Jill Hickey, Tuesday afternoons at 1 Eastern, noon Central, on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Christy Holly.
Hello.
We skipped Krav today, didn't we?
We did. We totally played hooky.
We did. We met at the gas station.
I know, way better than working out. Inhaling all those wonderful fumes.
We were breathing gas fumes.
Were we getting high from gas fumes? I don't know.
Yeah, and we were both like one step up from our PJs.
I know. I just had my socks on.
You did. You didn't even have shoes.
Well, I had my cute little boots on.
This is my homophobic host, Christy Holly.
No.
She means they're delightful, jingly bell kind of gay.
I had my boots on, and I had some high water, I don't know, capri workout pants.
You looked like somebody that should have ridden the short bus.
I know. Aw. Well, I had to take the boots off, so I didn't look too bad. I know. I was a window licker.
But this is part of being a mother, and the best part of it is I was queued up in line like 10 cars behind Christy, and I can see your SUV up there because it has the fireman hat for your husband's, LAFD fire department insignia. Right. So I always know which big, honking SUV is yours because there's like 20 of them that look just like yours. They're all navy blue, and whatever. But it was really funny because I'm like, wow, that's Christy. I'm like, she's not moving. So I cut out a line. I zoom up past everybody, and then I slid in behind you. You didn't even notice me.
Well, I did.
You were fighting with your son.
And then they needed their jackets, which were in the way back, and I was like, I have to get out of the car. My nightmare of not getting dressed and not wearing shoes. I had
in your hair.
I know. I was like, it was awful. And I had to get there. I had to get out in public, and then I went to the gas station.
Yeah, that's where we saw each other.
Because I had no gas. My light was on.
Mine too.
I wouldn't have made it.
Mine too. It was definitely a motherhood moment. But the fact that you didn't draw on yourself with pen like I did that one day,
I had a pen all over my face.
So, speaking of which, when we are overworked, underpaid, completely stressed out moms, I think it's really hard sometimes to know when there's something that needs attention with our kids. I mean, when they scream and yell, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But I think as moms, sometimes, and new moms especially, we don't know what to look for. And, and with my own son, he was born premature and he had some issues. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different because it was my first kid.
Right.
And, thankfully I have an outstanding sister-in-law or ex-sister-in-law, but she's still going to be my sister-in-law forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
She has been wonderful with helping me understand some of the things that my son needed. And it wasn't that I was in denial. I really just didn't know what to look for. And she helped me identify some of those things. And I think it really made a difference. I know it made a difference for me in confidence as a parent. It made a difference in my son's life, absolutely. But we wanted to bring her on the air today with her business partner. They own We Speech. It's a speech therapy office in Chicago. And I'm going to bring on Julie first. We have Julie, Levin, and Laura Drower, who are partners and friends, and they've been doing this a long time. So it really supports, Christy, you and I, we've had shows about friendship between women and long-term things, and we've had some partnerships on, like the real estate ladies who had been in business together 15 years and still going strong. So who says women can't get along?
That's right. That's right.
And so Julie and Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So, Julie, I'm going to go to you first. I would like for our listeners to learn a little bit about you, kind of who you are, what you studied, and then how you got to be partners with Laura, and what you're doing, a little bit about your family life. Pretty much everything. Go.
Let's see. Well, I'm a pediatric speech pathologist and have been for over 25 years. I went to school in Chicago and got both a bachelor's and a master of science in speech pathology, and have worked in a variety of settings. I've worked in homes, I've worked in hospitals, and now have a private practice solely treating children from the ages of birth to about 18. And I was very fortunate along the way. Laura and I met each other. We were actually in the same homeroom for high school, and then kind of reconnected in college, and have been friends ever since. And then at some point we decided that since I had sort of a medical model as a speech pathologist and she came from a school setting, that we should kind of join together and provide a service to families that we thought was needed in the community.
Now your company is called We Speech.
Right, we as in small, W-E-E, speech.
Terrific. So can we bring on Laura? Laura, are you here with us today?
I am here.
Hi, Laura. Welcome to Motherhood Talk Radio.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Are you surviving the storm?
Well as can be expected, I think. I'm just kind of watching it outside blowing past the windows right now.
So Julie and Laura are in Chicago right now, and Chicago's getting pounded pretty heavily like a lot of the Midwest and the East Coast. And I believe when I look at our producer here down in Texas, Carrie said they're getting some ice down there, too. So it's kind of a nasty day in the Midwest, sunny and warm in California.
Sorry, guys.
So, Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I would like to point out that Julie failed to mention that in high school, though we were in the same homeroom for 4 years, we never actually spoke to each other. We did not become friends until after high school, when we took
speech blows apart on the air.
We took a community college course together and became friends when we discovered that we were both going to be going to the same major in college. So, yes, 4 years, same room, and homeroom met every day, by the way.
Wow.
But we never actually spoke, yeah.
So who got more guys, you or her?
We were in completely different social circles also.
I was in the better one.
We won't really go into the high school social circles, yeah. So I've been doing this for the same amount of time as Julie, a little bit over 25 years. I went to graduate school in Wisconsin at Marquette and ended up going into private schools and public schools when I got out. I did not go the medical model that Julie did, and eventually we both found ourselves just wanting to be out of the settings that we were in and in more control of the quality of services that we offered to families, which is how we ended up. While we were both working full-time, we both started the business together part-time and then eventually transitioned over to it being our full-time business.
Well, and you're both moms.
Yes, I have two sons, an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old.
Wow. And Julie, how about you?
My son will be 16 next month, and he is an adopted child from Russia.
And he's my favorite nephew. Okay, I said it there. That's just the way it is on the air. Sorry, I can't take it back, but he is my absolute favorite.
Aw.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, Christy's seen him. She saw pictures of him when you guys were out here.
Yes, I did. You guys are a beautiful family.
Thanks.
It's a very cool thing. So, girls, I'm going to start with, you guys have different disciplines. One's more of a school background, one's more of a medical background. So I'm going to ask you both the same question. I'm going to ask you, what is one of the chief ways a parent can know that their son or daughter might need some sort of speech therapy? And if you guys could each give me your professional opinion.
Well, if I'm coming from a medical model and I'm seeing a very young child, a child under a year of age, I might be concerned if this child is struggling to manage food or to drink safely, or is refusing to eat or drink certain types of food or liquid. If your child may be having difficulty keeping the food down, maybe having some choking episodes. So these are red flags that I look at when I'm seeing a very young child or a mother who's coming in very concerned that their child is refusing to eat or drink. Those are red flags that we note.
And that would be for a child from approximately like what ages?
Well, certainly in an infant, we see this, but we also see it in toddlers, especially children who might be considered very, very picky eaters. We might want to take a closer look and see why that child might be picky and might go beyond what a typical toddler might be picky about.
So that would be a red flag that that a mom might want to be concerned about. Now, how about you, Laura? What would you say is like a red flag or something that a mom listening today, if she's experiencing, might want to go to talk to someone about?
Well, typically kids by the age of 3 should be 100% intelligible to familiar and unfamiliar listeners. So if between the ages of 2 and 3 you're not feeling that your child is beginning to be more understood by anybody that listens to him, that would be a cause for concern. If you feel that he or she is not responding to directions when you're asking them to do something, they're missing pieces of it or not responding at all, not able to ask and answer questions, if you feel like they're not really moving along that track to becoming conversant, that they can converse with their peers, they can converse a little bit with adults, those are kind of some red flags that we look at.
So what if a kid's just quiet? I mean, is that a sign to look at? I mean, I hear a lot of people who say, well, my son's just quiet or he's just shy. How do you know the difference between just quiet and shy and something that should be more actionable?
Well, I think you have to look at the settings that you're talking about. If you have a child who, when he's in his comfort zone and he's in his home or he's with people that he knows and he's conversant and he uses a nice variety of vocabulary and you can understand what he says and you feel like everything is just moving along, but when he gets among people that he doesn't know or in new locations, that's when he's quiet. Then I think you're looking at more of a typical development. But if you have a child that's not really putting anything out in any situation, then that's going to be more of a cause for concern.
So we have, your two specialists here today. You know what? We got to go to commercial break. We are going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we'll have Julie and Laura from We Speech answering our questions about what parents need to know about speech therapy.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. Mark Lipinski is coming to TogiNet. It's Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski, a live 2-hour show Wednesday afternoon starting at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com. Creative Mojo. It's fun, entertaining, informative, inspirational, and illuminating. Lipinski has worked on such shows as Oprah, The View, The Joan Rivers Show, and Ricky Lake. He's busy, but he's got the drive to share with Creative Mojo, dedicated to the modern crafter and crafting lifestyle. Dive into the info and enjoy everything from celebs to entertainment news to recipes, quilting and needlework, knitting, painting, woodworking, Christmas crafts, and so much more. This show boldly encourages you to discover and harness your own creative spirit by living creatively every day. For more on Mark and the show, check out marklipinski.com. Don't miss the fun. It's Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski. Wednesday afternoon starting at 3, 2 Central on TogiNet.com. Christian Work-at-Home Moms, here is your own show on TogiNet. It's CWAM, Christian Work-at-Home Moms, with Jill Hart and Diana Innan. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central on TogiNet.
I'd love to share with you just a little bit about how CWAM can help you, whether you are new to the work-at-home world and just starting out your search, or whether you've been working at home for a while and are looking to grow your business.
Jill Hart is the founder of Christian Work-at-Home Moms, CWAM.com, and co-author of So You Want to Be a Work-at-Home Mom. Jill has worked from home from 2000 and started her home-based business to assist other Christians who desire to work from home while maintaining a godly life. And Diana Innan with virtualwordpublishing.com.
I really, truly want to see you succeed, want to share the joy that I have in being home with my kids and being able to build my own business.
And she's ready to help you now. Christian Work-at-Home Moms with Jill Hart and Diana Innan. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central on TogiNet. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Christy Holly. We have given Rick Swanson a break for the rest of the show. Anytime we have chick talk, we try to let him go. Even though he has so much to add. He does have so much to add.
So much to say.
So much to say. Well, we are here with Laura Drower and Julie Levin, and they are the co-owners of We Speech, which is a small private practice owned and operated by these two outstanding women, and they serve the north suburban Chicago area, and they have since 1989. And what's amazing about these two women is that they serve children from birth to 18 years old with a variety of different needs. They do different things. We're going to talk about some of the things that they do in their sessions later on in the show. But before we get into that, Christy, you have a question.
I do have a question. And I think it happens with a lot of families. I have three kids.
Yes. Last we talked.
I know. My youngest, he talks and everything. He's fine. But before, both of my kids would always, talk for him and answer questions for him. So, it was like we rarely got to hear what, Nick had to say because the other two would speak for him. And they would understand him more than the adults would. They would say, like, what is he saying? And the kids are like, oh, he wants this, this, and this. Or he's saying, he wants milk. They would always speak for him. So it was like, is that normal?
I would say that's pretty typical in families that have a couple siblings. Some kids have stronger personalities than others, and sometimes the littler ones are happy to let the older ones kind of take over, and sometimes they're not, and they will show that in different ways, acting out and sometimes a little shoving involved. But I think that is very typical in families that have multiple siblings.
I also was going to say that I think that it's really important, though, that you do keep an eye on that, because sometimes families will say to me, I never really thought it was a problem. I just thought it was that the older siblings were taking over. And I think it is important for parents to make sure that they're really looking at the whole picture, making sure that it's not a bigger problem than just the older siblings taking over. That we're not looking at maybe the younger child having some challenges, and then unfortunately those things don't get addressed until he's older, and the older kids are already at school, and the little one's already 3 or 4 years old before it gets addressed.
Okay. And what, in your professional opinion, girls, when would you want to see intervention happen? I mean, is it like a lot of things where earlier is better? I mean, what is better from a treatment standpoint?
Well, definitely earlier is better. A lot of times we run across pediatricians that are hesitant to refer kids when they're younger, and they want to wait until they're 3. For some reason, 3 has become some sort of magic number for them that everything is all going to be fine.
It's been our lawsuit somewhere.
It's been our experience that moms usually know that something's not right, and when they go to the pediatrician and say, I have a concern, they're usually spot on about it.
So when a mom has a concern, no matter how old her child is, it's overwhelming. I know it was for me to think about, and I was so grateful to have Julie to ask questions, and to be able to guide me with some of this stuff. But it's really overwhelming when you go, well, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know where to turn. When somebody says, well, you should take your child to a speech therapist, what can they expect? And what should they look for?
Well, in terms of, some of the, what we call red flags, what is it that, might be a reason that you might want to bring your child to see a speech pathologist, or some of the things that we talked about before. If your child really is struggling to communicate, if you're not understanding what your child is saying, if your child is still drooling past the age of 2 or is really struggling to try new foods or eat a variety of foods, if your child really can't, by the time they're a couple of years old, use enough language to communicate basic wants, needs, and maybe even some ideas, then it might be time to seek out an evaluation.
So in an evaluation, is that done at a pediatrician, or who does the evaluation?
Well, the evaluation itself would be done by a speech-language pathologist, and ideally you'd want to see someone who has a master's degree, though I do understand that in different parts of the country some individuals have bachelor-level degrees. But ideally you'd want to see at least a master-level speech pathologist and someone who's certified by the American Speech and Language Hearing Association to do the assessment.
And this type of assessment, does it take a long time?
Again, it really depends on what the concern is going into the evaluation. It could be something that can be looked at within a short time, meaning 30 minutes to an hour. But if it's a very more challenging problem to look into, it might be several hours of an evaluation, depending on the age of the child or the concerns that the family has.
Is that something that your people's insurance would cover, or is that out of pocket that they would pay for something like that?
Well, as we know with what's going on with the insurance companies, I think it's important that families would certainly be in contact with their insurance companies first and find out what their particular contract is with their insurance company. A lot of these insurance companies are really looking for the problem to be a medically related problem and not considered educationally relevant or developmental in nature. And unfortunately, parents call back often looking for us to help them know what it is that they're looking at. Is it a developmental problem? Is it an educational problem? Or is it a medical problem? And insurance companies are very clear that if it's not considered medical, they often will not pay for that service.
So what
certainly
would it run
beyond the. I'm sorry.
So what could someone expect to pay, ballpark figure, for an evaluation if their insurance didn't cover it, like worst case scenario?
Well, I'm sure again it varies between companies. It probably varies geographically, but an evaluation at WeSpeech is $450, and that would cover the evaluation itself as well as a written report that would be available to the families, and then the families can certainly have that evaluation forwarded to any other medical personnel or educational personnel that they felt it would be helpful. But in knowing that, there's a couple of other pieces of information I think would be helpful to parents, and that would be to know that their state might have an early intervention program that serves children birth to 3, in which they can get involved in, and there may be no cost to them or minimal cost. They can also seek out an evaluation and or therapy through their public school system, and that's at no cost to them as well. So those are some options that families have, beside private services.
Besides private services. And so what would you guys say, would be a typical evaluation session? I know there's all different things you're evaluating, but if you could just walk us through, because I think, like in my case, the first time I went and had my son evaluated for something, I had no idea what was going on. I was completely unprepared. I just sat there going like, are you going to shake salt on his head? What's going to happen next? Can you walk us through just a simple one of what would be done?
Well, typically we try and be fairly comprehensive. We'll look at sound production. We'll look at how the child's mouth works and how it works to make the different sounds. We'll look at the quality of voice. We'll look at vocabulary development. And then when we look at language, we're looking at are they understanding language? Are they understanding directions? Are they understanding questions? Their expressive language. We're looking at their conversational skills, their syntax. That's pretty much, I think, a standard evaluation, and those components may all change depending on when the child comes in, what the parent's concern is.
So it's not something that the kids should be scared of or the parents should be nervous about. It's very play-based, and they'll look at pictures, they'll point to pictures, they'll identify pictures. Depending on the age of the child, there may be toys involved, and it's really we try and make it as low stress as possible. So if there's a medical condition that's causing some of this speech thing, how do you know which one, you've got medical things at play, and then you've got, the things that are, just part of their development at play. Do you guys have to work with physical doctors that might be correcting something? How does that work?
Well, I think that during the evaluation or upon completion of the evaluation, it's our job to sort of weed through and try to figure out what it is that we're looking at that may be a cause or causes of the challenge that the child may be presenting with. And I think it's important then to team up first with the pediatrician to discuss the results of the evaluation, and then if further assessment is needed, then you would work with the pediatrician to make an appropriate referral to another kind of medical professional that might help us get more information about the child.
So it really is a collective effort between you, the parents, the pediatrician, in trying to help this family and to help this child.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
And do you work with other, would a child in this situation maybe go to an occupational therapist or have other therapies in addition to working with you guys?
Yes, we do. In our clinic, we also have occupational therapy, physical therapy, and social work. And probably a majority of kids that come to the clinic get more than one service. They may, have treatment with us and then go into a treatment session with an occupational therapist, or they may be getting speech therapy and getting some group therapy services from the social worker. So we really do try and be comprehensive and meet all the needs of the child and the family.
That is terrific. We're talking today with Laura Drower and Julie Levin of We Speech. They are two speech and language pathologists. They are outstanding women in their field. They are here today talking with us about everything we need to know about bringing our child to a therapy session and relate to speech. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Motherhood Talk Radio. I'm sitting next to Christy Holly, who's laughing at me.
Not laughing at you.
No, but we are having a great time. This is a really important show, and if you guys want to check out their website, which they said are getting a new one soon, it's WeSpeech, WeESpech.com.
Mom, here's your show, Motherhood Talk Radio, giving you interesting, inspiring, and influential information as you navigate everything from childcare to corporate formation. This is Motherhood Talk Radio, and we'll be right back after these. Innovation and insight, problems and solutions, capitalizing on your ideas and efforts. That's all a part of Changing the World One Invention at a Time with Rick Rowe. Thursday evenings at 6, 5 Central on TogiNet.com. Rick will be sharing stories of innovation, invention, inspiration, and overcoming obstacles with guests who have been there, done that, and are doing that. Rick will be asking the right questions, helping you identify the real problems, and showing you how to act on your ideas by increasing consumer confidence and, more importantly, increasing your confidence to act on your ideas. For even more information, go to ThinkTech, that's TEK, globally.com. Then join us as Rick and his guests teach us how to develop new ideas and create new products, new businesses, new jobs. And together, let's get our economy growing again. It's changing the world one invention at a time. With author and inventor Rick Rowe. Thursday evenings at 6, 5 Central on TogiNet.com. Girlfriended is on TogiNet. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, with your hosts Patty Wyatt and Lisa Jernigan. This show is your chance to share, learn, laugh, and connect with other women. The Girlfriended principle was born out of loss.
Lisa had recently had her mother pass away from cancer, and my mom was murdered. A man just walking into a room and started a 23-second shooting spree.
I think one of the things we both realized going through those tragedies that you can be extremely okay and be extremely sad.
Check out Girlfriended.com. And then be a part of Girlfriended, the radio show. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central.
You know, your boyfriend or your husband or whatever, they don't totally understand that emotional side to them like another woman does. And I think that's so important just to have somebody that you go, she gets me.
Check out the website, Girlfriended.com. Don't miss Girlfriended with Patty Wyatt and Lisa Jernigan. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Motherhood Talk Radio, the most powerful voice in women's issues. For more information, check out the website, motherhoodtalkradio.com. Now, let's get back to the show with your hosts, Sandra Beck and Christy Holly.
Hey, mamas. My name is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Christy Holly, and we have some outstanding guests today. We have We Speech owners, Laura Drower and Julie Levin, and if anyone needs speech help today, it's me, because for some reason I have the hardest time with speech and language pathologists. Please help. Please help. And if you want to check out their website, they have a new one coming soon. They are found at We Speech, that's WEESPEECH.com. And, you know, we laugh about it. You know, being on the radio is really hard because we trip and fumble over words and we say things we don't realize how difficult it is to communicate on a daily basis. Right. But to have, your child have some speech problems that need to be addressed and helped, by these women, it's a really great thing to have her here today and have both of them here today. And one of the questions that Christy and I were talking about at the break, and you guys, either one can answer this, but are speech problems something a kid will grow out of, or is it something they'll have to manage through their lifetime?
I think Laura's letting me answer this one.
There you go.
I think some problems that a child presents with can very well be developmental. For example, some children learn to produce all of their sounds very early at 2 and 3 years of age, and other children take a little longer to learn certain sounds. They tend to acquire them a little bit later, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of age, and it's still within the normal range. But I think there are other problems, typically more related to language, but there are also individuals, children with specific speech problems. Maybe they have some weakness in the structures or in the musculature of the mouth and may need intervention, and that intervention may be needed for quite some time. So some things, like I said, are more easily acquired and are developmental, and you can wait it out, and other things need to be managed early and treated for a longer period of time.
Now, when you bring your child to a therapy session, like with either of you guys, is it usually a half an hour long? Is it an hour long? Is it a couple hours in an afternoon? Is it one day a week? I mean, what's a typical treatment schedule?
It really can vary. In our clinic, most of the sessions run 45 minutes. Some kids are seen for 60 minutes. Sometimes the littler ones are seen for 30 to 45, depending on what they can tolerate. Kids are typically seen once or twice a week, depending on the need. It's really pretty individualized.
So for a child to come in, it depends on how old they are, what their needs are, and then also, like when I look at my two sons, it's like one of them has the tolerations of a saint, and you could do anything to him, and the other one can barely sit still for like 2 seconds. I mean, that's gotta be tough on you guys. You also have to deal with the personalities.
Yes. That's very true. We have been doing it for a long time, so we, between the two of us, have a fairly large bag of tricks. And you really your goal is to make things fun and to get the child working and help them along, but to also make it enjoyable for them so that they're looking forward to coming and it's not something that they're dreading. Because, you remember that they're there to work on something that's hard for them. And typically kids are pretty aware of what their needs are and what their problem areas are. And we try and make it fun and engaging, and we try and focus our activities around things that they like and things that they're drawn to.
I was going to say that's true about the therapy. I had to go to eye therapy when I was in the fourth grade, and it was horrible. And I remember every Friday I had to be taken out of school, I had to go to the eye doctor, and it just, it wasn't fun, and I dreaded it, and I still... Clearly we still have some residual. I'm just saying that I think that it's really a great thing that you make it fun and, that make it so that the kids want to go there. So I'm just saying that that it's a good thing.
Well, it's a hard thing. I mean, it's like you're dealing with children, and I have a question for you guys. For me, I had fertility treatments for both of my kids, and there was a risk of multiples. And do you find that there are, because we see these TV shows with these moms having 5 kids and 8 kids and 4 kids.
19.
Yeah, 19. Those the Duggars or whatever.
Yeah.
The 19. Do you find that births with multiples have higher incidences of issues with the kids? Like I can't imagine having 5 kids is really good for the kids all at once.
Well, I think that we definitely know that more than a singleton, puts the children at risk for medical complications through the pregnancy of the mother, and so, yes, we often see ongoing issues after the child's birth. Even if the birth process went fairly well, the child can have some complications following the birth or in the child's early development. And especially when you're talking about, 3, 4, 5 children, when you've got a small space and you've got lots of babies, and the children are then much more at risk for developmental problems and long-term developmental problems.
Do you see, just in your opinion, not going to hold you to this as fact, but do you see that also with the increase of the mother's age? Because I know, when I had my kids, the magic age seemed to be, you talk about magic age of 35, and I guess that's when the results of the amnio equal, like, not having it or having it, whatever, but they had me so scared thinking, like, you're over 35, your eggs are moldy,
I know, old
mom. Do you find that just in practice, that is there any issues that come up, the older moms, especially now we saw, what's her name? We just have that baby, Travolta's wife.
Yeah, she's old.
And she's 50, 48, like that.
I don't think we really have seen that over the years, that older moms have kids with more significant issues.
Good.
Probably within our practice, we have, just because of our demographic, we have lots of really young moms that have kids with needs. So I wouldn't say at all that we see older moms with kids with more needs.
Well, that's a relief, as we're both older moms. Thank God. Thank old. Do you think, do these things run in families too? That's the other question that I've seen come in across my desk. If one, like an older sibling, has a speech issue, is there a higher possibility that a sibling would have the same issue, or is it just seems to be random?
No, I think we do see a pattern, not consistently, but there's definitely families that we have in our practice where there are sometimes 2 and 3 children being seen for maybe not the same service, but other services within the clinic. So there seems to be a higher risk, yes. When there is one child with a speech and language problem, oftentimes we do see a sibling with a problem of some sort.
So if each of you could give, if each of you could give me a piece of advice or something, like if the listeners today could take away one thing from each of you that they would remember and maybe tell their friends who aren't listening today, Julie, I'm going to go to you first. What piece of advice would you give someone listening today?
I think that as a mom, I think you know when your child is in need of some additional help. And I think when you know that, if you're not getting the support from your pediatrician or whoever you've initially shared it with, I think it's important that you go to the next step, either another professional or an educational person if your child's in school, and reach out and get help for your child.
And I would completely agree with that, and I would add that if you're turned down from the school or discouraged from your pediatrician, to continue to pursue that. And even as your child gets older, if they are in therapy and they do have some needs, to remember that the parent is the best advocate. You're the one that knows your child the best. You have your child's best interest at heart 24/7, and the professionals have skills and knowledge, but it's the parent who's the main player in the team.
Mm-hmm. Now, what what advice do you have to give with a family that their insurance may not cover this type of therapy, or and they have to come out of pocket? I mean, what is it better to go once a month, what you can afford, or is it better to fight with the insurance company? I mean, what does somebody do if their insurance doesn't cover this, their child needs it? Are there any organizations that are public that can help these children?
I think that varies state to state. And varies by income level, too. The state that we're in, Illinois, has some organizations in place that will assist with therapies on sliding scale based on income. So I think that what you would need to do is continue to pursue and see if your state does have other things available. The other thing is that sometimes you might not be covered for services in an outside clinic, but you may be covered for services through a hospital setting, and hospital settings often have pediatric clinics within them.
That makes sense. So we've got about a minute and a half to the end of the show. I want you to each tell me, what is the secret to you guys working together so long and so harmoniously?
Go. Amazing tolerance. No, actually, it's been a wonderful journey. I had no complaints.
I think we know each other so well. We fight, we get over it, and we're always able to come back around on whatever our disagreements are.
Well, I can tell you from being, related to Julie for a while, that to watch you guys work together and to see the work that you've done, and to watch you, especially Julie, raise your son on your own as a single mother, my hat's off to both of you, not only for keeping your business together, making it successful, working together as women, which a lot of times we hear that that's just impossible and women can't get along. You guys are living proof that you can make something amazing, and I'm so thankful that you came on the show today. Our guests were Laura Drower and Julie Levin of We Speech. You can check it out at WeSpeech.com. That's spelled WEE. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm here with Christy Holly. For those of you that missed the show, I invite you to check it out on iTunes under Motherhood Talk Radio. You could also go to TogiNet, TOGINET.com. Download the shows from there. And if you want to see all the shows and read more about our guests and see the links to their sites, please head to Motherhood Talk Radio. Please check out Military Mom Talk Radio while you're there. But we will catch you guys next week with another information jam-packed, outstanding show with powerful women.
Thank thank you for being a part of Motherhood Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Christy Holly on TogiNet.com. Join us every Tuesday as we